So why is there suffering? Um, I sort of summarized my answer into like three things. So the first thing is, well, pretty much there's suffering because like sin came into the world. Like God originally made creation, and after each day of His creation, God saw what He had made, and He saw that it was good. But then after the fall, so when sin entered the world, that's when Adam and Eve were cast out of the Garden of Eden, out of the presence of God. And from there, they were cursed, and like suffering and sin entered into the world. And a really helpful passage that I often look to, especially when there are natural disasters or even in the COVID pandemic, is like, why are all these things happening? I go to Romans chapter 8 and verse 20. So this chunk, it just talks about like creation being subjected to futility by God. So God has actually subjected creation to be like futile, like it's going to end. It's not really like that pointless. It's quite pointless. And like the whole creation is groaning together in the pains of childbirth. And not only creation, but we ourselves are also groaning inwardly as we wait eagerly for Jesus to return to make creation, like make all things new, where there'll be no more pain or suffering anymore, and where Jesus will wipe away each and every tear. And I think that's just helpful to realize that God is in control, and He allows suffering to occur to actually point us back to Christ, and help us see that by our own merits, we can't fix and save the world, because all the problems with the world, like humans trying to save the world, isn't, and like we can think about any example like poverty, war, like disease, all that sort of thing, or like wealth inequality, all these things. Humans can't really save the world because those problems, the root of those problems are from humans, because it's all human sinfulness. And so we have no hope in just ourselves, but rather we have to look to Jesus, who tells us, like, who conquered death, and God, who's the creator of all things, for hope in a perfect world. One other thing that I also look to is Hebrews. So in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 7, it talks about our suffering as discipline. And so you think about how your parents may have disciplined, like they definitely would have disciplined you in the past, whether it be like do your homework or eat your vegetables or go to sleep on time. And by being disciplined by your parents, your character has actually grown in a way that your parents who know better can help grow and guide you to live life the way you should be lived. And in Hebrews 12:7, it talks about how God is our Father and our loving Father who actually disciplines us through suffering, so that we can be trained up to be people who love and seek after Christ and godly things and spreading His word. And that all these things being said, we don't have a God that is just super distant from us, that doesn't understand the pain of suffering. So one story from John's Gospel about Jesus and Lazarus is just one that always really sticks out to me, because Mary and Martha were like pretty much devastated that Lazarus had died, and they had called out to Jesus and be like, "Oh, Jesus, please come, Lazarus is sick." And by the time Jesus got there, Lazarus had actually already passed away. And it's just this scene in the Bible where everyone is just weeping. Like these people are devastated. Mary and Martha pretty much just throw themselves down at Jesus's feet, crying to Him and weeping and mourning and just saying, "Jesus, if you were here, He wouldn't have passed away." But like, yeah, they're just so sad and devastated. And Jesus wept as well. Like it's not that Jesus is like, "Oh, whatever," like, okay. It's just Jesus was actually so moved by our suffering as well. And He actually says that it was for the glory of Christ and also to bring people to Him. And through our suffering, like even in your darkest moments, we have this great, it actually is really helpful for us in bringing us back to God, knowing that, yeah, the suffering isn't pointless, and it actually helps us see God more clearly and come to Him as our loving Father who we can depend on in all things. So yeah, those are just some reflections on suffering.